I know y'all see him hating. Don't act like you don't see it.
Yeah. Y'all know the vibes. Y'all know the energy. What's good? You guys are tuning to the Linc Up featuring Lord Brunson, Symone Stanley, and yours truly, Tone DeShields II. Unfortunately, Symone can't be here at this present moment. Maybe she'll pop in, maybe she won't, but we're going to hold her down for our lovely leading lady. And make sure you guys stay active. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed. All that engagement you guys provide to the content, it's how we eat. It's how this train keeps on rolling. So make sure you understand and exercise your right as a consumer. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Lord Brunson. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Symone Stanley, Symone with the sports that is. And make sure you guys are subscribed to Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. LB, let's get into it. What's good, big dog?
Charging it to the game. That's it.
You know?
That's it. I've been on a little bit of a tirade lately.
What's new?
You know what I mean? No, but I don't have no unjustifiable ones though, Tone. I don't just wake up and just decide to be the way that I am. You know what I'm saying? I always see something that is justifiable. You know, everybody got so much to say. All these lists come out. We got a super team, but we ain't on none of these lists. We so super, we so mighty. I never heard good.
I never felt this way before, though, LB. I've never. First of all, I've never been considered heavier than the hand of God. That's the way they talking.
Yo, do you hear it? Do you hear it? I never thought the day would come that the Chiefs will be running around here saying, "Well, we ran into somebody bigger than us. We ran into a super team. We ran into somebody stronger than us. We ran into Apocalypse. Ain't that the final boss on X-Men? We ran into Apocalypse. Yeah, we ran into Thanos. They come on. If the roles was reversed, Tone, I would be saying if we lost to the Chiefs, there's no way they better than us.
Right.
They got to see us again. They running right. They just bending the knee. They like we ran into something that the best team of all time. They won't tell us we that, but they'll sure act like it.
You know what I think?
I don't know, man.
I think in 2022, that first time we faced them in the Super Bowl, I think they was on pins and needles then.
They was.
And then when they got away with it, when we let them get away with it, they was like, all right, we dodged this one. We don't need to see them again. We dodged that one. Then they pulled our card again. And then at that point, now it's like, oh man, this team, they a super team. So did y'all always feel this way, or is this a new feeling because y'all lost? Like my whole mindset is this, right? They wasn't calling the Philadelphia Eagles a super team all season long. They kept talking about how Jalen Hurts holding them back. This defense, they could be a little too young. They got rookies at key positions. They were saying Saquon Barkley is washed. They were saying that before the season started. Remember? They was talking a lot. They were saying, who's this Zach Bond dude that got at linebacker? Who's the special teamer? Even certain people in the fan base, and the Eagles fan base was concerned about that. Is Nakobe Dean going to be healthy? Like it was so many detractors and naysayers before the season started. When we was at 2-2 at the bye week, just throughout our whole run, we ain't play nobody. Oh, this person didn't have this, they ain't had it. It was so many excuses being made. Oh, when we win against the Panthers, oh, I don't know if this team could do it. You know, this Eagles team seems like they're missing something. It was so many angles they took to say why we weren't that. And now that we proved that we were that, oh yeah, they was a super team. They had it going from the beginning. Hold on, wait. Which isn't that? Y'all can't play both. Y'all can't play both sides of the fence and claim that the Eagles were a super team one day, and then claim that we buns or we trash or we washed the next day. Like I don't understand. I don't understand the cognitive dissonance, the actions and the words not matching.
Of course, it's not going to match. So now, saying that the Eagles was a super team is directly to not give Jalen Hurts his credit for.
Absolutely.
That directly go hand in hand. When you say the Eagles got a super team, that's why they won. That's for the people that don't like Jalen Hurts at this point.
Facts, because they claimed they were so adamant that he would never see this opportunity.
Exactly.
Let alone see it twice. They was adamant. When he lost that first Super Bowl, it was music to their ears. They was like, oh, you know that Denzel mean? He like,
the Cowboys fans, the division, everybody that hated on Jalen Hurts, everybody, because it's easy to say he had one good year. That's all they were saying. He had one good year. You know what I mean? He got lucky. Look what happened last year, the 10-1 slump. Saying that the Eagles are a super team is a direct shot at Jalen Hurts because the Eagles are far from a super team, and I'm going to explain before we get into the meat and potatoes of what we came here to talk about. I'm going to explain why I believe we far from a super team because we had issues last year. We had our wide receiver reading a book on the sideline.
We came off a collapse.
You see what I'm saying? We had our wide receiver saying the passing game need to get better. We had the national media dogging Nick Sirianni. We had everything going against us that would hurt you. But when Jalen Hurts got the opportunity again to be in that Super Bowl, he showed y'all why he is the only person that could have got that job done. He showed y'all why. You know what I mean? And instead of saying that he played a good game, he's well-deserving a Super Bowl MVP, these guys is running around here saying we had a super team and anybody could have won a Super Bowl with him. I don't even argue with him no more. It makes no sense because if Jalen Hurts didn't play no hand in the Super Bowl, how the hell did he get Super Bowl MVP? That does not even make sense.
They love giving credit only to the defense, but my thing is somebody got to score. He has to run the offense. He got to move that ball. Like it doesn't make, like, first of all, the logic doesn't make sense. They're emotional. They're upset, and it boils down to one singular fact. They really committed themselves to the notion that Jalen Hurts would never amount to anything in this league, especially the Philadelphia Eagles. They committed themselves to that, and now that he proved
Super Bowl records,
bro, there's no greater height in football than to be a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP. There's no greater height in football. There's none. And I mean, Hall of Fame, sure, but that's when your career is done. When you're active, there's no higher glory than that.
That's not even. I think being a Super Bowl MVP and a Super Bowl champion is a greater achievement than being a Hall of Famer, because you can have. Think about this, Tom. You can have great stats and great individual accolades for 10 years and go to the Hall of Fame. And never. Zach Martin is going to the Hall of Fame. Zach Martin never been outside the second round. You know what I'm saying? And Zach Martin is on interviews right now saying that he is upset with the way things ended for him because he got to look at the Eagles win 2 Super Bowls during his career. And he knew that they was just as talented, if not more talented, but they couldn't get it together.
So if the players are saying it, I'm glad you said he said that. So if the players are acknowledging how good that Cowboys team was when he was there throughout the decade, if the players themselves are acknowledging that they had everything they needed to win, why didn't they get it done? Because I can make an argument that Dak Prescott has had the same amount of opportunities as far as roster construction. I can make an argument he's had similar roster construction as Jalen Hurts throughout his entire career. I can make an argument for that. There's never been a time where he hasn't had a weapon. He had Dez Bryant. He had CeeDee Lamb, Jason Witten, Ezekiel Elliott. Who was the running back that was behind Ezekiel Elliott before he got sent to Tennessee?
Pollard.
They had Pollard, Tony Pollard. They always had a tight end as far as I can remember.
Ferguson is good.
Schoolmaker. They had good defenses, right? I'm not understanding how Jalen Hurts all of a sudden got a super team.
Amari Cooper, don't forget Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, I forgot about Amari. He had Dez
DeMarco
Bryant, Amari Cooper.
That can't have DeMarco Murray.
No, that was Tony Romo. He had him. But Dak had Dez on the tail end of his career.
Right.
But
yeah, Cole Beasley in the slot.
Cole Beasley, who was a slot merchant, killing people in the slot. The bottom line is this, man. You're right. Saying the Eagles had a super team is a direct shot on Jalen Hurts. And it just kills them. It kills them that there's nothing left for them to truly criticize Jalen Hurts about, except for his stats don't match up with his guys. Okay, so
we don't care about that. We don't care about that. At this point, it kills their credibility, because you got ex quarterbacks who willing to go on TV, and just because they played the game at that level, are willing to die on this hill. Like what Jalen Hurts has done isn't impressive. Then you got other guys with common sense who coming around like, yo, man, he was in 2 of the last 4 Super Bowls, bro. 1 Super Bowl MVP a couple months ago. You know what I mean? That got to mean for something, but they willing to die on this hill, man, because they hatred for Jalen Hurts is I'm not even, at this point, I can't even say it's deeper than football. It's like, bro, it's ugly at this point, bro. It's ugly at this point. And if anybody's saying that for a quarterback, winning the Super Bowl MVP, winning the Super Bowl as a franchise quarterback is more valuable than going to the Hall of Fame.
I've never seen a Super Bowl champion. I've never seen a Super Bowl MVP discussed the way he's discussed, even in his own city. Like, I'm seeing guys on WIP talk about he's not even a top 10 Philly athlete. What are we talking about?
Guys? Who is these guys? What
are we talking about? Like, what? This dude's a Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. He's not a top 10. He's the quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles.
But this the thing though, Tom, and I'm gonna keep it a bean. Those the racist dudes from these certain parts of South Jersey and Philly who've been covering the team for a long time. They not real. They not real. They don't like him.
It's engagement farming. They trying so hard to keep the lights on. It's like, yo, you can't be. First of all, this dude said, and no disrespect to this guy I'm about to mention, but he said Ranger Suarez is a top 10 Philly athlete over Jalen Hurts.
Who is that?
Ranger Suarez is a pitcher for the Phillies.
Who?
He's not even the number 1 pitcher for the Phillies. He's like number 3.
Come on.
How you know?
Anything to say that anything to not say that they was wrong about the guy. Anything to not say that they was wrong. What on God's green earth don't make Jalen Hurts a top 10 athlete in Philadelphia? He had 70 rushing yards in the Super Bowl as a quarterback. 70 rushing yards in the Super Bowl as a quarterback. He holds the Super Bowl record for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns as a quarterback. He averages 300 passing yards a game, I think, in the Super Bowl. On the biggest stages, what are we talking about here?
Bro.
He's not a top 10 athlete. Jalen Hurts is the number 1 athlete in Philadelphia, if you want to be for real.
Listen, here's the list that they posted on WIP. This is Joe DeCamera's list. Listen to this. He worked for WIP.
Saquon number 1.
Saquon number 1, Bryce Harper 2, Zach Wheeler 3. You already lost me there. You already lost me there.
Zach Wheeler?
Just the number 1 pitcher for the Phillies. But you already lost me with that.
But I don't even know your name.
Right. Number 4, AJ Brown. Number 5, Jalen Carter. Number 6, Lane Johnson. Number 7, Zach Bond. Number 8, Landon Dickerson. Number 9, Quinyon Mitchell. No disrespect to Quinyon. Really? He just got here. Number 10, Jordan Mailata. Number 11, Ranger Suarez. What are we talking about?
How is Joel Embiid not even on the list?
What are we talking about? I'm not even mad about that, but still.
But Joel Embiid is a top 10 athlete in Philadelphia. He's also an MVP.
He's also an MVP.
Okay. If you don't want to put Joel Embiid, what's the young Maxey? How's Maxey not on the list?
Exactly. No Maxey.
What are you talking about?
Like this list reeks of trolling and trying to stimulate engagement. It reeks of like you can't be this obvious. You can't be this obvious.
Bro, you want to know what the issue is too for a lot of these guys that have to keep the lights on? They have to keep the lights on by thinking they have to cover everything under the sun. You know what I mean? They got their hands in too many pots. Obviously, they out of touch. because you're talking about Ranger Suarez and all of these people. You know what I mean? You obviously out of touch. If you're gonna talk about the birds and not have Jalen Hurts in a top 10 discussion as athletes, and this is the enemy from within. We fight an enemy from within on a daily as Eagles content creators, bro. And I don't understand why these athletes. I want this part clipped. I want it everywhere. I'm putting it on Twitter everywhere. What mark we at? I don't understand why these athletes continue to call up and talk on WIP.
Here's why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because I don't know if you know this, WIP is the flagship station for the Philadelphia Eagles. So there's contractual obligations in place for certain members of the team, coaching, players. There's contractual obligations for the Philadelphia Eagles to provide them with certain people to speak at certain times of the year. It's a reason why Nick Sirianni.
I don't think. Oh, okay. So, I've never heard Jalen Hurts call WIP.
No, right. So the point I'm trying to make is, you know what I think? I think WIP takes advantage of their relationship with the Eagles and uses that as a way for them to say what they want. And I also think, to your point, I think Jalen Hurts. I don't know this for a fact, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Hurts curved them one too many times and people got sour grapes.
It makes sense because he's never talked to him. He's never talked to him. When AJ called up there to ask them why they be doing the hating they be doing, that was just on a whim.
Yeah, that was on a whim. Yeah.
That was just on a whim. Now the coaches and some of these other guys, like getting Lane Johnson and some of these guys to talk, and Kelsey, the guys who meet they be on, I think that them guys might be under, because sometimes they'll get a Howie every now and then. But the stuff they be saying about Jalen Hurts is ridiculous, bro. Ridiculous. To the point to where nobody should even be supporting them. I don't think nobody on the team should be supporting them, because WIP, guys like that, guys like Dan Sillyho, them guys can't wait for the downfall of Jalen to say they was right. That's what they living for. They living for the opportunity to say, I told y'all he couldn't do this. I told y'all he couldn't do that. You know what I mean? So it's done.
It's done, though. It's been done.
It ain't done, Tone. It ain't done. All this did was let the evil bubble a little bit. Because the moment he have a bad game, they right back to it. I saw somebody on TV the other day say that we just want to forget about the bad 2 months of football and only focus on the Super Bowl.
That was Chris Sims. He said something along the lines of, I don't understand how somebody can automatically become a top 5 quarterback when all season we were talking about the passing game. And then, he had the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, but we can't just act like those previous games didn't happen. Nobody act like they didn't happen. But guess what? In this league, and listen, he should know better than anybody. In this league, you're only as good as your last game.
No, but this the thing, though. We do act like it didn't happen. You want to know why? Because we don't care anymore.
You don't care. It never matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You want us to praise Justin Herbert and all of these guys for being good, week 5, for being superb, week 5 through 8. Then when it's time for a win to go home, they wet the bed. That's better. That's better.
Right.
Make that make sense. Lamar was looking like a damn created player until the playoffs started.
Jared Goff, Jared Goff, same thing.
Jared Goff was looking out other than worldly until the playoffs started. So we supposed to praise that type of play?
The playoffs don't matter no more when Jalen Hurts win it.
Don't matter.
That's basically what they're saying. The playoffs only matter when it's every other quarterback but Jalen Hurts. I've never seen the playoffs become an afterthought for a quarterback. Quarterbacks, first of all, when you draft a quarterback, people get so caught up in the sexy conversation. Oh, look at that off-platform throw. Look at the velocity on that pass, right? The people who get too caught up in that, instead of asking the crucial question, can I win with this guy? What's his habits? What's his mentality? How does he approach failure? How does he approach success? What's his mantra? Like, what's his soul? Where his soul at? Like, who is he in big moments, big games? Can he make the throws? Simple as that, right? Can I trust this guy? And there's so many guys that get so much love in his league because of how pretty they throw a football instead of actually doing what matters most, winning football games, winning big football games, putting your team in positions to win, not positions to fail. Like, showing up when it matters most, showing up in the big game. Like, I'm sorry. that y'all, I'm sorry that these other quarterbacks truly struggle to show up when it matters most. It took the man y'all hate to knock out that demon in Kansas City. The man y'all prayed on his downfall. It took him to beat him, not y'all Lord and Savior in Buffalo, not y'all Lord and Savior in LA with the Chargers, not y'all Lord and Savior in Baltimore or in Dallas. No, not them. Not
in Cincinnati either.
Not in Cincinnati.
Joe Burrow ain't been to the playoffs in 2 years.
Listen, they give Joe Burrow so much respect and so much love for that Super Bowl run they had. They always bring that up and use that as something on his resume. But they want us to forget about Jalen Hurts' 2022 season and act like that was just a far cry. Like, y'all can't have it both. It's the rules consistently change for Jalen Hurts. And that's why let's move this conversation forward, because I think what makes Jalen Hurts truly special is not just how he shows up on the field, it's how he shows up off the field. And Nicole Lynn, his agent, she's the president of football for Clutch Sports. You know, she did like a sit down, or she was doing like a session, and it was being moderated by former NFL agent and former NFL player and attorney Dominique Price. They were talking about the nature of the business and, you know, contracts and the NFL, things like that. And Jalen Hurts' contract came up. And she essentially said Jalen Hurts, he didn't want to know nothing about the conversation, nothing about the deal until it was done. He completely wanted to detach himself from the process. And when the contract came back and she made it clear to him that, hey, I made you the highest paid player in football history, he was like, well, damn, I ain't asked you to do all that. You know, his whole mindset was, I want to make sure my contract doesn't keep the team from building around me still. She made it very clear Jalen Hurts' main concerns was his contract's impact on cap and how other guys can get paid. He was very selfless throughout the process. And she said he wouldn't sign it unless she explained in detail how the team can continue to build around this contract. And there's not many guys in this league that think like that. And guess what? I don't blame guys for wanting to get their cash. I really don't. In this league that chew you up and spit you out, I don't blame guys for getting their cash. But I always say, be careful. If you ask for too much, they're going to ask you for too much. And it's a lot of guys in this league that they get the bag, but then they complain about what they don't have. So Jalen Hurts is a guy who still was able to get the bag, but also the contract was constructed in a way where A.J. Brown could get his money, Devontae can get his money, Saquon can get his money, Lang can get his extension, Landon can get his money, Cam Jurgens, Jordan Mailata. We can make a real argument that if Jalen Hurts doesn't do good business with the Eagles, a lot of the things that we see now doesn't happen.
Yeah, you can make the argument for that, and I think it's more so the fact that Jalen Hurts had the team first. You know what I mean? And I don't think that franchises are saying, to your point where you're saying, like, the more you ask for, the more they ask from you. Listen, when they make you a franchise quarterback and they pay you $50+ million a year, and a big thing about Jalen Hurts was he wasn't worth that. Oh, 50, you can't pay this guy $50 million a year. The guy went to 2 Super Bowls, but that's neither here nor there. But when you say that they ask more for you because what you ask for, no, they ask you to go win a championship.
Yep.
But they ask you to go win a championship no matter how you do it, no matter how it looks. Go win us a championship for this money. They're not asking you to go out there and average this amount of pass yards. I think even the owners got the game mixed up now, bro. The owners even got the game mixed up. They're not asking you to have these stats and these accolades and all of this, bro. They asking you to go win a championship, bro. And that's what Jalen Hurts delivered on when he got his bag. They paid Jalen Hurts to go win a championship and go be a leader of a football team. A lot of these guys don't have that mindset, bro. And sometimes being a leader says, let me make sure I leave some crumbs on the table for other people. A lot of these other guys are liars, Tone. They're liars. Dak Prescott just said in an interview that he don't care about his legacy. He cares about winning Super Bowls. But if you cared about winning Super Bowls, why would you take $60 million? Why would you take that much money? Like, that wasn't the number for the next guy up. Why would you try to sock it to your organization like that, bro? And that's exactly what he did. Now, Michael Parsons is still not paid. CeeDee Lamb turned around and did the same thing. Like, guys be worrying about their brands and all these individual accolades, man. Winning is not important. Myles Garrett, winning not important to Myles Garrett.
Mm-hmm.
Or he would have tried to not play for the damn Cleveland Browns. You know what I mean? Maybe something turns around with that situation with Shador, but I ain't see nobody move the way Jalen is moving since Tom Brady. In terms of, you know what I mean, making sure some money is able to be divvied around. That's what champions do, bro. And I do blame some of these guys. Oh, go get your money, go get your money, go get your money. Bro. At some point, enough money is enough money, bro. You know what I'm saying? At some point, enough money is enough money. What's the difference between Jalen $50 million a year, or what? Jalen at 50, right?
51.
What's the difference between Jalen 51 and Dak 60?
When you get that level, right?
Right there. Yeah,
I'm with you on that.
I'm with you on that, right? What's the real difference right there? So if you know you can leave 5 to 7 million more on the table annually per year, why wouldn't you do that to make sure you're able to go build around your team?
But that's my point, right? It's like, listen, hey, go get your money, but guess what? Know what come with that. Know that if you ask for that number, you may not be able to get X, Y, and Z put around you. And like you said something real important that stood out to me, right? You said they're not asking you to throw for this many yards and that many yards. I mean, sure, it's incentives in the contract, but they don't ask you for that. They ask you for results. They're asking you to win game. When you pay a franchise quarterback, you're not paying him to throw for 5,000, 6,000 yards. You're not paying him for the fantasy football numbers. You're paying him. Right. You're paying him to win football games, get you to the playoffs, win those games, get to the conference championship, win that game, get to the Super Bowl, win that game. You're paying them for relevancy. You're paying them to win football games. Jalen Hurts is worth every single penny. Ask Jeffrey Lurie if he questioned how much that $51 million matter to him now. That $51 million,
it's a bargain.
That Super Bowl just tripled that for him, quadrupled that for him.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain.
It's a bargain. And now Jalen going to chill for like another year. Then Jalen going to get extended for $60 million a year.
Right. And that's why his contract just took effect in 2024. The first year of his official contract taking effect is 2024, and he won the Super Bowl that year. Money well spent. Money well spent.
So how much? So what was his cap hit this year? Like 26 mil?
Like 21, like something like that. Yeah, like 20.
Yeah. And you know what's sad about how Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys operated during that process is that Micah Parsons had to come out and say he would take less money because he wanted to win a championship. Micah Parsons had to say that, bro.
But guess what?
That's a job. That's what the quarterback's supposed to do, bro.
But guess what, LB? Well, this is what happens when players. This is what happens when players look in the mirror and say, you know what? This franchise ain't shit. So guess what? I'm going to treat them like that. I'm going to whack these dudes. Because guess what? They ain't really serious. So why I got to be serious? Perfect example.
Right.
Perfect example. The Bengals. Mm-hmm. They could have paid Jamar Chase early. Could have paid T. Higgins early. Could have got all those guys out of the way. Trey Hendricks could have got them out of the way. But guess what? They got fleeced by Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is making $40 million a season. And guess what, bro? Get your money. But how did the Bengals allow themselves to pay a wide receiver $40 million a year when the next guy behind him is making 35? How we get from 35 million to 40 million when the person next up is supposed to get 36 or 37? You get what I'm saying? Like, how did y'all allow yourselves to get fleeced for $40 million a year when the second highest paid receiver is making 35?
That's the same thing what happened with Dak. I think the top guy at the time was like 56.
55. It was 55.
Right. It don't even make sense.
It was I think it was Jordan. Like it's like 3 or 4 quarterbacks all making like 55 million exactly. I think it's like Jordan Love. You got Joe Burrow. Let me double check this stuff. But the bottom line is Dak Prescott making 60. That's 5 more million than the next guy. That's weird to me. Typically,
that don't make sense.
Typically, when guys get paid, it's like, okay, you get an extra $1 million or $2 million. You know how the market just shifts little by little.
Right.
You paying T. Higgins $29 million a year, $28 million a year. You paying Jamar Chase $40 million a year. That's like that's $68 million between them. but the Eagles, they paying AJ 31, I think, or 32, and they paying Smitty 25. So that's what's that? 57. So 57 million versus 68, 69 million. 11 million. I could do a lot with that. I could bring in some frugal free agents, and like 11 million got the Eagles. Zach Bond, Mekhi Becton. Who else? CJ GJ, if I'm not mistaken. Like 11 million didn't hurt the Eagles. The Eagles got a lot done with $11 million in 2020 in the 2024 offseason.
They did.
And then Bengals just cut Jermaine Pratt, they starting linebacker, who led them in tackles. They playing funny money with Trey Hendrickson. No wonder Jesse Bates got out of there. He got his bag from Atlanta and never looked back. It's these teams.
The Bengals are just a janky organization, man.
Janky.
They're just a janky organization, man, because you Bengals fans, they want to cry and complain and say that they don't have no defense, they don't have this, they don't have that. But y'all happy that your organization is paying y'all wide receivers that amount of money. You know what I mean? Like what's important to you? Is important to you is to making sure you competent on the other side of the ball as well. Your first round pick don't even want to sign with you because y'all playing with the money.
That's another thing. I never seen this before. A first round pick doesn't sign his contract because y'all playing funny money with the terms.
But the thing is we never seen it before because we never saw a franchise try to give somebody a 360 deal. First round picks, their money is usually fully guaranteed with a 5th-year option. They trying to add void years to the contract. They trying to say, all right, we can get out of this contract in 3 years, and in the 3rd year if it don't look right. Like what is that? What is that? I wouldn't sign the money either. He only 21. Bro. He could sit out this whole year, go back into the draft at 22.
Bro, listen to this, man. Three Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, and Jamar Chase. Those 3 players alone are taking up over 32% of the cap space for 2025. 3 players are taking up over a 30-year cap space. 3 players. 3 players. And then when you think
third, that's a third.
Yeah. And then when you think about the Eagles, let me just do some quick math here. Keep 32% in your mind. Keep 30% in your mind for the Bengals. They got 3 players taking up 30% of the cap space, over 30%, right? Before I even get to 30%, I got Jalen Hurts' contract in 2025. That's only taking up 7.83%. Lane Johnson taking up 6.5%. So 7 plus 6, that's 13, plus AJ Brown's, that make it 19%. Plus Jordan Mailata, that's 24%. Plus Dallas Goedert makes it 27%. Devontae Smith make it 29%. And then Saquon Barkley make it 31%. And then Landon Dickerson make it 33%. The Eagles got like 5 or 6, 7 stars in their cap hits combined equal about 30 to 35% of the cap. Think about the business that's being done with the Eagles and the business being done with the Bengals. That's good business. You got Hurts, Lane Johnson, AJ Brown, Jordan Mailata, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley taking up less than 35% of your cap. And think about the talent I just named. Think about the talent I just named.
That's good business. Because you also got studs. You also got studs that's on rookie contracts.
Yes. And again, I go back to the original point. This can't happen if Jalen Hurts is greedy. This don't happen if he's greedy. This don't happen if he says, I don't care how my money affects the organization. I want my money.
I don't know about that because we already had a business model on low cap hits before we signed him. This right, but what I'm saying is he could have
that part, but he could have given him a hard time. Is what I'm saying. He could have given him a hard time.
I don't think so because they made him the highest paid player in NFL history. It was only for like a week, but he was the highest paid player in NFL history. Then I think Burrow got a bag after that.
Yeah, I think Burrow then it was Lamar, then it was then it was Herbert, then it was Lamar or something like that. Then right. Tua, yeah.
Because Burrow might have got his bag the year before, you know what I'm saying? So technically, you know what I mean? Howie Roseman and just Jalen Hurts, it's just a match made in heaven, man. Our quarterback, our GM, our
the
city,
agent,
the
the city.
agent.
It is a match made in heaven. Like it's rare that you have so many people in a situation like this that don't move with ego. Jalen Hurts doesn't move with ego. Nick Sirianni doesn't move with ego, right? Nick Sirianni has done a lot. He's taken a lot of bullets for the sake of his team. Howie Roseman, like Jeffrey Lurie, these guys, I gave so much credit to Jeffrey Lurie because Jeffrey Lurie don't move like he bigger than the organization. You got Jerry Jones out here moving like he the Don Dada, like he is Mr. Football.
The thing that I like about Jeffrey Lurie is Jeffrey Lurie has this thing where he shows up when he needs to show up. Like going to the press conference for the tush push, he was there loud and center, beating his chest. Like that's when you need your owner. That's when you need ownership. You don't need ownership just at the press conference. You don't really see Jeffrey Lurie talk. Like you ain't see Jeffrey Lurie. Jeffrey Lurie, they will show him in his seat, in his suite, watching the game, and then they'll show him when it's time to get a cigar or time to lift a trophy. Jeffrey Lurie might be on the sideline every now and then, you know what I mean, in big games, but Jeffrey Lurie, he don't want the spotlight on him, bro.
Yeah, he's letting his money work for him. And
man, they donating $50 million to the autism organizations.
Yeah, CHOP, Children's Hospital Philly, man.
Come on, man, bro.
Yeah, it's just a different thing we doing over here. And you know, I look at Jalen Hurts as a guy who's done nothing but represent the organization well. He's done nothing but win football games. Right. He's done everything you want out of your franchise quarterback. He wins. He stays out the way. He's good in the community. Married man, come from a football family, the son of 2 educators. What more? Like he is he's the textbook. He's the prototype. He is everything you teach these young players to be when they come into the league, and he's winning. But he's not a top 10 athlete in Philly. But he's not a top 10, top 5 quarterback. What are we talking about?
This let you know that none of these guys say matter, bro.
It don't matter.
They did a poll on what the young guys coming into the draft this year, Ashton Genty and all of them guys, like who they wanted to have on Madden. Everybody said Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley.
Yep.
It don't matter what these guys on TV say, bro. It matters the respect you get from your peers. Because when the top 100 come out, Jalen Hurts is going to probably be in the top 15.
He gonna be top. He should be top 15, top 10. Yeah, he should.
Yeah, he gonna be like top 15. Top 10 is gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard at top 10 because statistically, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Saquon gonna be number 1.
Yeah, Saquon's definitely gonna be number 1. He's gonna be number 1, number 2, either one.
Saquon gonna be number 1.
I think Lamar might be either 1 or 2. Honestly, it's a chance he may be 1 or 2.
Lamar gonna be top 3. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be hard. You know what? I should do that on my next video. I'm gonna try to predict the top 100, the top 10 of the top 100 this year.
Yeah, like it's a situation where I think about what Jalen Hurts has been able to accomplish, right? And then now it makes me think about because the Super Bowl. Because I always said this, right? I always said if Jalen Hurts wins 1 Super Bowl throughout his entire duration as the Eagles quarterback, it was a success. If he wins 1 Super Bowl throughout that whole contract, it was a success. That's how I looked at it, right? But now I'm looking at it but now that he got it, because I ain't gonna lie, he got it sooner than what I thought he was gonna get it, if I'm being honest with you. But now that he got it, now I'm saying to myself, what's the next step for this brother? I'm thinking about the next step for a lot of guys. Him, Jalen Carter, these guys that had crazy runs, right? I'm thinking about what's the next step for a guy like Jalen Hurts, because Jalen Hurts, I believe, he's just entering his prime. I think now.
I don't even think he's there yet. I think he's like 1 season from being in his prime, because Jalen Hurts is learning more and more about himself every season, bro. When I heard that trainer talk about things that he see him working on after the Super Bowl, like the timing of it, like not timing, like his release, like getting the ball off quicker.
He said even the tick. They said even that split second. He said the goal is he said look, that tick faster is not going to show up in every throw, but the goal is for it to have it show up in key moments when you need to get it out and be prepared to get it out in that moment. So yeah, it's the intricate details of fine tuning your game. I'm with you on that.
So that's where he at. Soon as he like fine tune the intricate details, then I'll be able to say he in his prime. But he's really, really close to being in his prime. He's like 95% in his prime because not only does he know now, this is what, in my opinion, this is what makes Jalen Hurts better than Lamar Jackson. Is that Jalen Hurts knows when to run. Jalen Hurts knows when to leave the pocket. First, when he came into the league, he leave the pocket too soon. Everybody was saying that like the first year or two when Jalen Hurts was in the league. He leaves the pocket way too early. He now knows when to leave the pocket. He knows, bro, when to leave the pocket. And he knows that if you play him a certain way, he's going to leave the pocket in these circumstances. Like when we talked about what was going to happen in the Super Bowl, I told y'all Jalen Hurts was going to run for a lot of yards in the Super Bowl because Spags was going to blitz. And Jalen was going to find that hole through that blitz while they was playing man and pick up huge chunks of yards on the ground. He knows that if you play man to man, he's going to leave the pocket if you blitz. You know what I mean? He's definitely changed the game and molded. Like the IQ of Jalen Hurts is better than any attribute that Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott. It's better than any attribute that any of these guys possess, bro. The IQ alone. IQ is why Drew Brees is who he was. IQ wasn't the biggest. He wasn't the fastest. He wasn't the strongest. He had high IQ and elite timing. IQ is why Tom Brady is who he was. He was a 6th-round pick. A 6th-round pick. The guys with the attributes, the sexy attributes, they go in the 1st round. They 1, 2, 3. They get picked in the top 10. You gotta have something else different to be picked and later than the 1st round as a quarterback and excel the way Jalen Hurts has excelled.
Joe Montana was a 3rd-round pick. He didn't have these spectacular attributes that you see in the 1st round, right? But Joe Montana had the IQ. He had this DNA where Joe Montana, he's known for being a guy that no matter what the score is, he coming back. Like he's done that so much in his career. And Joe Montana, if I'm looking at the numbers, he's never thrown for 4,000 yards in a single season. Came close a few times, but never did it.
But that's a different era, though.
No, it's a different era. It's a different era for sure. But he had a lot of attempts, though. But regardless, the point is, though, it's a different era. The point I'm trying to make is he's a guy that played the game with his mind more than anything else. And Jalen Hurts, you can nitpick the talent, nitpick the skill set, nitpick the production all you want. At the end of the day, is he somebody you can trust to access that X gene, that X-Men level of showing up when it matters most? Is he somebody that you can trust with the launch codes? Is he somebody? Is he on his Mission Impossible? Can you trust him like you trust Ethan Hunt in Mission Impossible? Now I'm on my movie shit. But like, can you trust him to do what needs to be done when it needs to be done?
I've seen it time and time
all
again.
the talent that they preach about with these guys, and they are talented. I've watched Josh Allen play a lot. That boy bad. I've seen Lamar Jackson play. That boy bad. Joe Burrow, those some tough motherfuckers. But when it matters most, do you trust them? Trust them?
I've seen it time and time again, man. I've sat and I've watched that 4th and 5 in the NFC Championship game many a times. I think we was only up 2 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I sat and I watched that 4th and 5 dime to AJ Brown. I sat and watched us down 8 with 6 minutes to go in the first Super Bowl, where he had to score a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, bro, to tie the game up, and we never saw the ball again. I sat there and I watched. If Jalen Hurts would have got that ball back, we'd be 2-time Super Bowl champion. He'd be a 2-time
I
Super
agree
Bowl
100%.
champion.
I agree 100%.
Had he got that ball back, bro. It was no denying Jalen Hurts in that game. Defense let him down. I've sat and watched Jalen Hurts against the Pittsburgh Steelers get the ball in a semi-tight game with 9 minutes left, and the Steelers never see the ball again.
Never see the ball again. And that's a very good pull by you, because in that game in particular, they was living for some reason, whatever was going on in that game. In that final drive, they were living in 2nd and long, 3rd and long. Like, right. Those weren't easy conversions.
They were not easy conversions. It was nothing easy in the Chiefs game. Chiefs was getting us in 3rd and long.
Yeah,
the Chiefs had us exactly where they wanted in the Super Bowl, bro.
Exactly.
3rd and long, where we know you can't run. Now we get to come after your quarterback. Your quarterback has to beat us. That's what they wanted to do. They wanted to shut Saquon down and make Jalen beat him. and he beat them time and time again. That pass to Dotson in the first half, it was called a touchdown first, but he was ruled short.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, come on, bro. I've seen the elite gene that these other guys don't got, bro. I don't know, bro. If they had it, they would have been able to beat Spags and Mahomes' defense, bro. Had they had it.
Yeah, there's a moment in every game where you can tell what type of time a guy is on. And for me, even though the play didn't count, when I saw first drive, I think it was 3rd and long, whatever it was, they hit AJ Brown on the go ball.
Mm-hmm. And it was a push off they called.
Yeah, when I saw him go for that pass early, and it connected, I said, "Oh, he loose, he ready, he's loose."
He started loose.
It's certain moments in the game where you just realize the type of time somebody on. I knew exactly. Oh no, he went in. He not gonna be denied this time. He's not gonna be denied this time. He going for it,
bro. If he played like that every week, bro. If he go out there like that every week, but he was on, his mindset was kill, bro.
Kill.
His mindset was kill, bro. The dagger to Smitty, come on, bro. Like I ain't seen this from these other guys, but hey man, they could cope all they want, bro.
For sure. When that second half started, to your point, when that second half started, and when he got out of the pocket, I was like, he trying to go for the kill. He trying to put him out there misery.
He was trying to drop 60.
Everything he did in that second half told me that he was trying to bury them. Even on the sideline, he talking to Nick. He was like, are we done?
You sure we done?
He said, you sure? He asked him twice. He said, you sure? You sure? He went back to the sideline with Smitty and AJ and them. He said, man, I was trying to like keep this shit rolling. Smitty was like, kick them while they down, huh? Kick them while they down. So AJ was like, Jalen was like, he was trying to jump. They could have, bro. They could have jumped.
They should have. They should have.
I would have,
bro.
It's the last game.
They should have.
I would have made sure they remembered this,
bro. They should, and they remembering it well already as is. But they should have. They should have went out there and tried to obliterate them, bro. It's the Super Bowl, bro. It's the Super Bowl, bro. They should have never pulled the starters, bro. But I'm glad, bro. Our backups got burned, bro. Backups got burned.
Kenny Pickett got a couple snaps.
Yeah. Did Kenny Pickett throw the ball? Or he just took a knee.
I think he probably handed it off and probably took a knee. I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But no, the bottom line is though, like Jalen Hurts is a guy that he made sure that his contract put the Eagles in position to build this roster properly. And shout out to my man J62 Moon. He says something interesting here. He says, Tone saying Jalen ain't greedy, but also the highest paid is crazy every time I hear it. He got his, bro. You're not listening. And that's okay, Jay. You're choosing to hear what you want to hear. By the way, Hurts is not the highest paid. Hurts is the 11th highest paid. But at the time, he was for like a day or two, 24 hours, whatever it was.
You're still not listening.
Right. The point of the matter is he constructed his contract in a way where he can still be taken care of reasonably, and the team can still build and pay guys like AJ and Smitty and Saquon. Like Devontae got his. He got paid $25 million a year. Devontae could he got more? Sure. Because Jalen Waddle,
that was a deal.
That was a deal. Jalen Waddle getting paid 28.5, I think, and they got drafted in the same draft class. He could have demanded Jalen Waddle money, and nobody would have argued with him. But he said, but he said, you know what? I mean, this works for me. This is what I need. Simple as that.
He's not trying to count nobody else's pockets. You know what I mean? Right. If you're telling me I'm making $25 million a year, and it's the thing. He not asked to come out there and do it by himself.
Right.
In a wide receiver room, he not asked to come out there and do it by himself. But you know what I mean? They wouldn't even would have came at AJ with that, because AJ is legitimately like a top. AJ might be the best wide receiver.
AJ's the best. AJ Brown's the best receiver in football. I'm betting on that. I don't care. Nobody say I put AJ.
He's the best. He's the best wide receiver in football, and you have to pay that price.
Right.
You have to pay that price.
Guess what? They still got him for a steal. They still got AJ for a steal.
No, AJ was the highest paid wide receiver. His extension made him the highest paid wide receiver.
for a split second, and then whatchamacallit got paid after that.
Justin Jefferson.
I got it right here because I know exactly what you're talking about. Like that. See, what happened was
I think CD might be making more than AJ.
No, he is. But here's the thing, though. How he saw what was coming. Remember, at the time,
right.
AJ was making 25. He's making 25 a year.
I think he's making like 32 or something like that.
He's making 32 now. But what happened was he saw that, hold on, like Amon St. Brown just got 30. Brandon Ayuk just got 30.
And you can't justify having AJ Brown making 25 with them two guys making 30.
But he knew that Justin Jefferson was coming down the pipeline, CeeDee Lamb, DK Metcalf, Jamar Chase. So how he did was he said, okay, I'm gonna get ahead of this now. Because I can't justify paying him $25 million, knowing these guys up the street get X, Y, and Z, and he already entered like the second year or third year to deal, whatever it is. So he said he got ahead of it. So you know what, AJ, he go $32 million because he know in the long run that's gonna be a steal. When you got a receiver making 40 million, Jamar Chase making 40 million right now.
And it don't take an effect until because AJ was still on his first extension.
Yeah, he was still on the first one. I think because when he first got traded here in 2022, that was the last year of the rookie deal technically. And then his extension took effect in 2023. Then 2024 was the second year of the extension. So I mean, again, the Eagles have done good business to make sure that we can have these conversations. And I just go into this season just as confident as I was going into last season.
No, yeah, we ain't got no choice but to be as confident. Nothing changed for us. Yeah, we lost CJ, but that ain't really nothing that I don't think can't be replaced. But leave it up to him though. We ain't gonna do shit without him.
Speaking of CJ, man, and we could probably this could be the last topic because I know you're in a row and everything. So, but yo, why can't CJ leave well enough alone, bro? Because I understand that, right? I understand it's frustrating. It hurts. You thought you was gonna you signed a 3-year deal. You thought you'd be here for at least 2 of them years, right? I understand that, but I think it gets a little funny for me at least when everything first happened. He was real professional about it. Real professional. He surprised me actually. He was real professional about it. So we're like, okay, cool. Things went how they went, and then all it took was for Vic Fangio just to say, oh yeah, I was okay with it. It's okay. It's sometimes things happen with the cap, whatever it is, you make the decisions. I think Vic Fangio said something along the lines of, as far as I know, it was a salary cap move.
It was salary cap thing.
And I'm okay with it. He didn't say nothing left. He ain't go crazy. He ain't crash out on CJ. He just said, it's the business. I'm okay with it. CJ lose it. That for some reason, that's what did it for him. That's what pushed him over the edge for some reason.
Because he feel like they're not keeping it real about the situation. But my thing is this, bro.
Here's the problem, CJ. Real quick before you cook, because I think I know where you're about to go. Them telling the real of the situation, that don't hurt nobody but you.
That's
because
true.
Because the reality is them saying it was a salary cap move is going to keep you getting paid. Because if they come out,
the politically correct thing to do.
Yeah, because if they come out and say that, oh no, he did this, he did that, all this other stuff, that gets in the way of you making more money. That stops your earning potential because teams, listen, the NFL has shown you time and time again, they don't care how talented you is. If you're a liability, you're a liability. They've shown that. That's the one thing about the NFL that I respect. If you're a liability, you're a liability. We ain't investing in that. So, CJ, why do you want the Eagles to come out and say the real thing? Because I think it was because you and I both know it was more than money. It wasn't about the money. Yeah, that contract was easy.
Of course. And furthermore, why are you peeking over the fence, even listening to what Vic Fangio saying in the press conference? You play for the Texans now, bro.
Right.
That's how I know he hurt, man. But I was sick about it when it happened, but we all was. You got to move on. You got to move on, bro. You got to move on. That's my only thoughts on it, man. You just got to move on, bro. Like, I wish we did play him this year.
I did
He
too.
seemed to want all the smoke.
Yeah, and my thing is, they sent you to a team where you could actually play relevant football. The Texans are in contention for not only their division, they're in contention for their conference. They are. They got the quarterback. Go ahead.
Somebody in the chat said, "LB, just go ahead and tell us what really happened." No, bro.
Like they sent you to a team with a quarterback, with a receiving core, with a defense. Like you got traded to one of the best defenses in football. The Texas defense was like top notch last year. You got the coach. Like you're in the conference, or you're in the division that's actually favorable to y'all. Like y'all can really make noise in that conference and in the division. It's really, again, we know it's more than just a contract. We know it's more than football, but like CJ, you don't want them saying what it really was. That doesn't look good on you in the long term. And also, I was always taught this: whenever you go to a new job, don't badmouth the old one to the new one. It'll look good.
That's probably happening tenfold over there, man.
It'll look good though, professionally, because eventually the team you play for, they're gonna look at you like, what happens if things go a little sour here? How are you gonna move? Like, people pay attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Don't badmouth your old chick to the new one. You look silly. That's, I don't know. That's my perspective on that, man.
Yeah, but like I said, it is what it is, man. But CJ definitely talented, man. I think he's been in the last 3 NFC Championship games.
For sure, he's a winning player, and that's the thing. And that's why we were so fascinated by the move. It was like, hold on, wait. Like, CJ is a player. He's proven. It's no question. He's a player you can win with. You can win with him. But whatever happened, the Eagles said, we're okay.
Yeah.
And that means it had to be a lot.
And they sent him to a contender, though. They sent him to a good squad. You know, they could have sent him to Cleveland.
That's what I'm saying. They even sent Bryce Huff to the 49ers. Right. They sent him to the coach that got him right. They sent him to the coach that got him that 10-sack season with the Jets. Robert Saleh, he the DC over there. And we know the Niners had a down season, but I don't think the Niners are going to stay down long. I just don't see it.
I don't think they're going to stay down long. Whatever happened to Jamar? What happened to Chase Young? What did he play for?
Chase Young? Ooh. I think last season he was with the Saints, wasn't he? Let me see where he.
Saints last season?
Yeah, let me see where he at now, because I think somebody did sign him. Chase Young now plays for. Okay, so the Saints brought him back. They re-signed him. They gave him a 3. They gave him a 3-year deal.
Okay.
They gave him a 3-year deal. They basically gave him the Zach Bond. They gave him the Zach Bond contract, basically. 3 years, $51 million. That's exactly what it is. Not bad at all for a guy who's been battling injuries. They guaranteed you $33 million out of that $51 million. Not bad at all. Not bad at all, man. But was there anything you wanted to tap into? I know I mentioned Jalen Carter earlier. We could shift gears away from the Hurts side of things and whatnot. We could probably cap it off on defense. Is there anybody on defense that you're excited to see, like, what the next step is for them in their career as far as production, just dominance, whatever that may be? Like, I'm really excited about Jalen Carter, man. Like, I feel like he's a guy. I don't even know his ceiling right now. The ceiling is glass. Like, it's just, I don't know what it is.
You know who it is for me, bro? It's a Jomo, bro. It's a Jomo, man.
I like a Jomo.
I'm telling you.
I like a Jomo.
I think like this might sound crazy. Hear me out.
I think he can be better than Milton.
I think a Jomo is on Jalen Carter level. I'm telling you, bro. I think Moro Jomo is on Jalen Carter's level. He just ain't been able to show.
In what way? In what way?
Everything, bro. Everything at the position, I think he does just as good as Jalen Carter, bro. Everything at the position, bro. No cap, bro. I'm busting down the film right now. It was supposed to come out yesterday.
Right.
But I have time to get it done because it's all editing and all that. But I'm telling you, bro, I think Moro Jomo is on the same level of Jalen Carter. And it's the thing, though. People hear stuff like that and they think I'm saying he's better than Jalen Carter. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we potentially got 2 guys on the same level on the team. So I don't understand why that would make anybody upset. I think it's immense untapped potential with Moro Jomo, bro.
I will agree with this part. I think Ojomo is, because I'm with you. I've watched a lot of like the Ojomo stuff. he's significantly better than people think he is. And that's not to say
Right.
they think he's, and that's not to say they think he's bad, but what he's doing is significantly more impactful than what people think. He can play the run. He can rush the passer. He's powerful. He's very powerful.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing, y'all. This is the thing. Y'all also said I was crazy when I said it was Hurt season. I see him in the chat. Y'all also said I was crazy when I said the Eagles need to draft Cooper DeJean. Y'all say I'm crazy for a lot of stuff. Then when it comes to fruition, y'all want to act like we all was on one accord.
Hey, listen, I'm not gonna call you crazy, but I am gonna say this. I'm not jacking that just yet.
No,
but listen, I ain't mad at that. You wanna know why? I ain't mad at you for saying that. You wanna know why? Because I'm rolling with Ringo.
I ain't mad at that.
I'm rolling.
I can't be. I can't be mad at anybody rolling for an Eagle.
I'm betting on that stock. I'm betting on the Ringo stock. Listen, I'm betting on
the Jomo stock. I think a Jomo gonna outplay Jordan Davis for playing time and all.
Well, I expect that because now Vic Fangio said something interesting in that press conference. He said Jordan Davis. He said he's come along as a pass rusher in a way that he likes, and he said Jordan Davis, he's just getting into the best shape of his career. So I'm like, okay, what does that look like with Jordan Davis that can rush the passer with that size, with that speed? That'd be vicious. But to your point about Moro Jomo, I think Moro Jomo is going to take over the Milton Williams snaps, which is more than Jordan Davis's.
Right, he's going to take over for the Milton Williams snaps. But people are in the comments saying that Jomo don't have that nasty streak.
No, you gotta watch it. No, he does.
He just don't get the snaps.
He a nice guy, but he off the field he a nice guy. But no, when he play, no, he's
Jalen Carter a nice guy off the field.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He just Jomo just don't be getting the snaps. So I'm looking at the defensive line, bro, because I think that's where it all starts. Defensive tackle. I'm excited about Ty Robinson as well. I'm excited about our last pick in the draft, Rylan Powell.
Antoine Powell-Ryland, yeah.
Antoine Powell-Ryland. I'm excited about him as well. He could be another guy. So, I'm just excited about the defensive line in general, man. For us to be where we want to be defensively again, they got to eat.
Yo, our defense, like I was telling people that our defensive tackle room is in way better shape than they think. Well, if you notice, we only added one player to that, and that was Ty Robinson, a rookie. That D tackle room is in beautiful shape with the youth, the talent, the versatility. That D tackle room is in beautiful shape. I think the edge rushers are in better shape than people think. I got a feeling one player that I think is going to really go crazy, and I really want him to, is Jalen Hunt. I think Jalen Hunt got something. Now, Aziz Ojulari, I think Aziz going to have like 6 or 7 sacks this year. That's what I think. But I think Jalen Hunt, if he can continue to develop and figure it out, because remember, he's a safety turned edge rusher. If he can continue to develop, I think Jalen Hunt can be nasty.
I think he can too. I feel like he's going to get an interception this year.
I really do, man. I think this defense is in better shape than what people think. I know people got their concerns, which is reasonable. And that's another thing, too. I don't think people have unreasonable concerns about, be it the secondary, right? Or I don't think anyone has any unreasonable concern. Like if somebody told me, hey, Tone, I know you high on Ringo, but like, I am a little concerned about it. I'm like, okay, I understand that. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, Ringo got to go out there and do the job. Just because I'm betting on him, that don't mean I ain't concerned. When people bet they parlays, they still sitting there rocking like, all right, this don't got to come through. Like, you still got some concerns with it, but
I don't even want to talk about my parlay last night, bro. I don't even want to talk about it, man. Before we get out of here, bro, y'all got to stop comparing Tyrese Halliburton to Jalen Hurts, bro. Stop doing that, man. They talking about Halliburton is the Jalen Hurts to the NFL. No, and at the NBA, no, he not, bro.
Nah,
no, he not.
He got to win.
He had a couple clutch shots. No, he not. I missed a parlay last night on Buddy getting 17 points. He supposed to be the star. 17 points. He had 4 points last night, bro. He had 4 points last night, bro. He was the last leg on the parlay.
Oh, so you needed.
I needed him. Racks involved. My cousin bet on him getting 10. That's even worse. 4 points.
Yeah, I think he hurt too. But I think he hurt more than what
So
they saying. No, what I'm saying is like I think they hurt more than what they claiming though, because they trying to claim that he gonna be ready to go for the next game, whatever. I'm like, nah,
man, they going home the next game.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
It's over.
I think OKC got them where they want them. And OKC I think OKC gonna blow them out the last game.
Yeah, it's over, man. It's over. They defeated.
They're gonna blow them out the last game.
Yeah, they defeated.
So
It's over, man.
So we'll see, man.
We got?
We got 11. Let's get through these real quick and we can get out of here. So shout out to y'all. We appreciate y'all for locking in on the content. Make sure y'all smashing that like button too. That like button is really important. Shout out to my man Drew Johnson, just became a member.
Drew,
Lynn with the $5 super chat says the hate for Hurts needs to be studied, especially from so-called Eagles fans. Sports radio is dead. Yo, yeah, listen, I even got to show love to the Fanatic, 97.5 the Fanatic. They actually showing love. They show love to Hurts. Like, for sure. Shout out to my man Bill Colarulo. Shout out to Mike Missinelli. You know what I mean? The only person on WIP that really showed consistent love to Jalen, consistent love is, and I don't really like this guy like that, but Elliott Shore Parks. He showed love to Hurts like no other, and I respect it. Shout out to Lynn though with the super chat. My man Chops, Anthony Chops Crowback says, all that 3P talk just for them crybabies to be selling $35 rags on the internet. We have the league in a stranglehold, and they can't cope with it. Eagles are the gold standard in team building. That's a fact. They love talking about, I think I saw you get into an argument with somebody, this Dallas Cowboys fan, talking about, Howie Roseman doing all these deals, but all those void years on the back end is going to hurt this team in the long run. First of all, you think Howie Roseman ain't been dealing with void years? Like you think he knew to this? Like Howie Roseman know how to maneuver that money. It's fake money. It's not real money. It's a fallacy.
The thing for me is when is Carson Wentz's contract dead? Money gonna catch up? When is all this stuff supposed to happen? That was there's always something that's going to happen.
That's what they said before, right? Because my thing is the Carson Wentz contract. When I saw what Howie Roseman was able to flip Carson Wentz for, and what it became in the long run, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, guys like that, AJ Brown. When I saw what he flipped that for, I'm like, oh, I trust him to do anything. He can do my taxes. Like I trust Howie Roseman in any financial situation. I don't even think about money with the Eagles. I don't think twice about it. AJ Jones with the super chat says, if the Sixers Flyers were good or we had a UFL XFL team, there wouldn't be a need for the clickbait trash topics. Bro, if you're good at your job, period, you don't need to do it. It's called entertainment. Like, and you can entertain without being a dickhead. Shout out to AJ Jones, man. I appreciate you, bro. Beast on Broad Street says Dan Sillyho is vicious work.
Oh yeah.
Y'all crazy. Eagles Playbook Podcast says Tone LB. It's getting so bad now that they're even saying Hurts was carried in 2021 and 2022.
21 All Pro.
Bro, at this point, I don't want to argue with those people no more. Those people can't be reasoned with. Those are the people that still go outside with flashlights looking for Sasquatch. Like, you can't reason with them. You can't reason with people who still think Trump is the answer for us. You can't reason with them. Alex with the super chat says it'll be funny if Stewart re-enters the 2026 draft. I don't even know how that process, because I think you mentioned that with Jamar Stewart. How does that process even work if he doesn't sign the contract? Like, I don't understand what the Bengals are doing. How does that, like LB, do you know how that works?
Yeah, so if he don't want to go with the Bengals, if he don't sign a contract, he would go back into the draft, but he got to sit this whole year out, and the Bengals aren't able to draft him again next year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he'll have to sit this whole season out and re-enter the draft. He'll be 22, and the Bengals won't be allowed to draft him. Everybody will get a free crack at him except the Bengals.
He wouldn't be able to just be an undrafted free agent?
No, he got to go back into the draft.
Because he technically was drafted.
Right. And that would be unfair because people will be able to throw bags at him. You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Because then, you know what? That's a good point, because if they did that, that'd be unprecedented.
If they did that, a lot of people won't sign a contract.
Yeah, a lot of guys won't sign a contract. And you'll see guys just not entering the draft, or they just come in as a walk-on or whatever it may be. Like,
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Waldo Vision with the $4.99. He says, me personally, I need every cent that's earned. It's the team's job to figure out the cap. Salute, fellas. Facts, bro. Like,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I ain't mad at that either. Like, it's the team's job to. That's a fact. It is the team's job to
But
figure
you
it
got
out.
guys. But you got guys taking money that's not earned though.
Yeah, and you also got guys in the league that understand that want to know how the cap works, so they can continue to sustain success. See, if you want to grow in any industry you in, it's important to learn everybody's job in some capacity. In some capacity, you know, if you work in the kitchen, all right, you want to know what the janitors do. You want to know what the cooks do. You want to know what the front of house do, the back of house do. You want to know what everybody's job is. So in the event of, if you want that spot, you can go get that spot, and you can put people in position to win. Like, you know, so I understand what Waldo Vision is saying. Yeah, it is the team's job to figure out the cap. But as the player that's signing the contract, you do want to understand how your money is working, how your money is impacting your situation, because you got guys that get the money and they complain about losing, but they're not privy to how their contract is impacting the roster building. So it is important to understand both sides of the coin, no matter if you signing the contract or if you're receiving the money or you're giving the money. Shout out to Waldo Vision. That's just my opinion, though. Alex with the $4.99 says, only thing Jalen needs is MVP, but the way he's so selfless, I don't know if he'd ever get it. Hey, keep stacking up them Super Bowl MVPs. I'm cool with that.
Hey, he can have 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Eli Manning don't got an MVP.
Yep, he got two Super Bowl
MVPs though.
And he going to the Hall of Fame just because of that.
Right.
See, the thing is, Eli going to the Hall of Fame not just because of the Super Bowls, it's because of who he beat. He beat Tom Brady twice. And got MVP. That's legendary. Sorry, no matter how you like it, that's legendary. Right. Jalen Hurts, he knocked out the hottest guy in town, Patrick Mahomes, in dramatic fashion. That's legendary. Nick Foles, he beat Tom Brady, and that's legendary stuff. All of the Eagles Super Bowl victories have been legendary. It's going to be talked about for generations upon generations. J62 Moon says, Bengals GM opened his big mouth and said he was going to make Jamar the highest paid non-quarterback, and then the Myles Garrett contract hit right after. Yo, bro, the Bengals don't know what they're doing over there, man. Jay Graves with the super chat says, you still crystal ball Brunson, but damn, same level as Carter, though.
Yeah. I'm telling you, watch. Either we're going to see it here with the Eagles or when he move on, because we ain't going to be able to afford him.
Yeah. Eagle Swag Nation with the super chat. Thank you. She says, what up, fellas? Big supporter. Keep bringing the smoke. LB, I'm coming to the first game. Where they do the 4th of July tailgate part is where do they do the 4th of July tailgate? Where's it located at?
I don't know.
As a matter of fact, why don't you I think 4th and July got a Twitter page, and then I'm pretty sure
I usually hit up E-Rock or somebody and see where it's at.
Yeah, or Gail.
Gail
Saunders.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I hit up
Gail Saunders.
Yeah, and Gail let me know where it's at.
Yeah. So shout out to them. We got another super chat here about War with $1.99. He says, I think Antoine Powell Ryland taking Uche's job. I'm not hiring Uche right now.
I ain't seen nothing about him, but I know Uche, he had a good season a couple years ago.
He ain't did nothing to like change my mind, but it's just like for some reason, I look at a guy. If I look at Ojulari, I see the consistent production despite injury. I see he's going to give you between 5 to 8 sacks a season no matter what's going on. I see that. Whereas the Uche, he has one season with 11 sacks, and everything else is like 1 sack, 2 sacks. Like, and that 11 sack season came in 2021, I think, or 2022. Like, right. So
it does give a little Bryce Huff.
Yeah. So you know, like, I'm not saying he's gonna be a bad player, but when I think about the stats, he had 12 sacks in 2022. Every other season, 1 sack, 3 sacks, 3 sacks, 2 sacks. That was 3 years ago where he did that. I don't know who he is today. Whereas though Azeez Ojulari, even though he has battled injuries, I can still look at the stats and say, okay, 8 sacks in 2021, 6 sacks in 2022, 3 sacks in 2023, but he bounced back with 6 sacks in 2024. At least I know I see a baseline. I see some kind of average there. He's going to get me between 6 to 8 sacks for the most part if he's healthy. I can bet on that. So, but yeah, Antoine Powell Island, I think he's a sleeper to get some real snaps, especially in the second half of the season. So we'll see. All right, you guys, that's the show. We appreciate y'all for locking in. Shout out to our girl, Symone Stanley. She's phenomenal, always doing good work. She's traveling. Y'all know she's the reporter that never sleeps. You know what I mean? So we're gonna start calling her jet setter, the jet setter. You know what I mean? Courtside Moan. I like that. So make sure y'all smash that like button. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Laura Brunson. Make sure you guys are subscribed to me as well. Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II. Y'all know how we carry it here. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the Linc Up YouTube channel. I repeat, make sure you guys are subscribed to the Linc Up YouTube channel. You guys are phenomenal. You guys are great. We don't take it for granted. And it's straight like that. LB, any final words, big dog, before we get out of here?
Play the beat, man. Go Birds.
It's straight like that, y'all. We out of here.